What's that?
5 months to go.
5 months to go. That's
They're
right.
in Disneyland today.
So thanks everyone for being here. We are almost at a minyan. So we're going to start on Yediv Nefesh on page 1. It's a small group, so please sing along with me loudly so I'm not doing solo. All right, page 1, Yediv Nefesh, because we need that extra soul right now.
Okay.
Yediv Nefesh Avarahaman, Yediv Nefesh Avarahaman, Mishachavdecha El Ratzonecha, Mishachavdecha El Ratzonecha, Yarut Avdecha Yemolayom, Yishtachave El Muladorecha. Lovely singing, thank you. All right, let's go to page 3, Lechu Neranana. Lechu Neranana, Neranana, Ladonai Naria, Naria, Letsuri Shenu. Lechu Neranana, Neranana, Ladonai Naria, Naria, Letsuri Shenu. Nekad Mafanav Vetoda Bismirat Arialo Ki El Gadol Adonai Melech Gadol Al Kol Elohim Lechu Neranana Neranana Ladonai Naria Naria Letzuri Shenu Lechu Neranana Neranana Ladonai Naria Naria Letzuri Shenu. All right, let's jump ahead to Romemu bottom of page 12. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu Ve'ishtachavu Lehar Kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu Ve'ishtachavu Lehar Kodsho. Ki Kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu. Ki Kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu Ve'ishtachavu Lehar Kodsho. Awesome, we're now at a minyan. Good job, guys. All right, page 13, Mizmor LeDavid. Mizmor LeDavid, Havu Ladonai B'nei Eli, Havu Ladonai, Kavod Ba'oz, Havu Ladonai, Kerem Hashemo Yishtachavu Ladonai, Baharat Kodesh, Kol Adonai, Olamai, El HaKavod Kirim, Adonai, Amayim Rabim, Kol Adonai, Bakoach, Kol Adonai, Lehadar, Kol Adonai, Shaber Arazim, Shaber Adonai, Betar Zehobanan, Vayar Kidem Kemo Egel. Page 15. Lecha lecha dodi, likra likra kala, b'nei b'nei shawa nikabela. Lecha lecha dodi, likra likra kala, b'nei b'nei shawa nikabela. Shamor b'zachor b'dibur echad, Ishmiyanu el b'richad, Adonai echad, U'shemo echad. L'Shem l'tiferet v'liti la 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 la, lecha lecha dodi, likra likra kala, b'nei b'nei shawa nikabela. Lecha dodi, likra likra kala, b'nei b'nei shawa nikabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu l'melcha, ki makor ha'bracha, me'rosh mikayem nesucha. Safla aseh b'machshavat tehila la 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 la, lecha lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, b'nei b'nei shawa nikabela. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, b'nei b'nei shawa nikabela. Bottom of 17. Naminu smol tifrotzi, ve'et Adonai ta'arisi, al yadi departi, v'nismecha v'nagila la 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 la, lecha lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, b'nei b'nei shawa nikabela. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, b'nei b'nei shawa nikabela. We rise and face the entrance. Bo'hi v'shalom ateret bala, gam b'simcha u'b'shola, tov emuneh am segula, bo'hi hala, bo'hi hala. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, b'nei b'nei shawa nikabela. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, b'nei b'nei shawa nikabela. And to all the mourners in our midst, we say Hamakom Yenechem Etchem B'toch Sha'ar Avalei Tzion B'Yerushalayim. Page 19, you may be seated. Mizmor shir leyom hashavat, tov lehodot la'Adonai, ulzamer l'shimcha elyon, ulzamer l'shimcha elyon, lahagid baboker pastecha, ve'emunat ha'alelot. Alleluia, sur, alleluia, bel, Page 21, Psalm 93. Adonai malach ka'ut lavesh Adonai os hitazar aftikon tevel val timot bechon kisecha me'az ve'elam ata nesu narot Adonai neseu naharot kolam yiseu naharot doch yam mi kolot mayim rabim adurim mishpareyam adorom Adonai enotecha ne'enu me'od lebetecha nama kodesh Adonai le'orech yamim. Please rise for the Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. You may be seated. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidbaro ma'ariv ha'olamim. Yom v'layla goel me'or mipnei choshech v'choshech mipnei or u'ma'avir yom u'mevi layla u'mavdil bein yom u'bein layla Adonai tzavot shemo El chai v'kayam tamid yiloch aleinu le'olam va'ed Baruch atah Adonai ha'ma'ariv ha'olamim. Page 24. Ahavat olam Beit Yisrael Amcha ahaveta Amcha ahaveta Torah u'mitzvot Chukim u'mishpatim Otanu limadeta, Otanu limadeta. Alkein Adonai Eloheinu meshapeinu, Ukeinu nesiach bechukecha, Benizmach bedivrei Toratecha, U'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed. V'chein hayenu, ve'yorech yameinu, u'vayem negeyam v'layla, negeyam v'layla. Ve'avatecha al tasir, Mimeru le'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael, Ohev Amo Yisrael. All right, I'm going to pick on my children. You're going to come up and lead the Shema in front of the camera. And all you need to keep on, just to mix things up a little bit. All right. You got to go right there because you're too short to be up here. Okay, you guys ready?
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Ve'ata et Adonai Elohecha, bechol levacha, ubechol nafshecha, ubechol me'odecha, ve'hayu hadvarim ha'elem, asher anochi mesavecha, hayom al babecha, v'shinantam levanecha, v'dibartam b'shivtecha b'beitecha, u'v'lechtecha b'derech, u'shachvecha u'b'kumecha, u'kshartam leot al yadecha, v'hayu b'totefot b'einecha, u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha, u'v'yisharecha. Leman tizkaru v'asitem et kutotai, v'tem kedoshim le'Elohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hoseti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, li'yot lahem Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem, emet. Yashikoach. Page 32. U'malchuto v'ratzon kivu alehem, Moshe v'nei Yisrael lechanu shira b'simcha rabah, ve'amru chulam. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh, Norah tehilo osefele, Norah tehilo osefele, Shema lechutecha ra'u banecha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe. Chazak mimenu, Baruch atah Adonai, Ga'al Yisrael. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, ve'alidenu malkeinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, ve'alidenu some strong singers in this group. All right, we're going to start on the right-hand side. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom. Ve'alidenu malkeinu, Eloheinu l'shalom. Hashkivenu malkeinu.
Sukkot Shlomecha, Baruch Atah Adonai, Haporei Sukkot Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Amo Yisrael, Ve'al Yerushalayim. Please rise for Vishamru. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et hashavat lasod et hashavat ledorotam be'rit olam. Beini u'bein Yisrael oti le'olam, oti le'olam, veshamru Page 35. Oh, you may be.
Nope.
No? Okay, stay standing. Yikara v'yikara shamei rabba ve'alma divra chirute ve'amlich malchute ve'ayechonu b'yomecha u'chayerecho b'et Yisrael b'gala u'zizman karib v'maru amen yehishmei rabba mevorach Yitbarach ve'yishtabach ve'yitpa'ar ve'yitromam ve'yitnaseh ve'yithadar ve'yitaleh ve'yithalal Shemei Nekudasha Barechu La'ela min kol merchata v'shirata Tushbechata v'nechemata damiram ve'omra v'maru. Amen. Right, we have the private Amidah from page 37 to 48. in for a treat because you guys have an actual professional, Rabbi Jessica Dalara Nussbaum. Okay, will be leading a few things, and I'll hand it over to you. I'm so glad that you're here, by the way.
Oh, me too. Sad that this is the reason, but here I am. So we'll begin on page 49. Oh no, Shalom Rav first. I would have already said that. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Yatahu Mechadom Leol HaShalom. Yatahu Mechadom Leol HaShalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov be'einecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Now we turn to page 49. Fun fact, I got my start in Jewish leadership standing right here when Rabbi Mark would ask me to lead this part of the service. That's how they get you.
We won't ask how many years ago.
Not as many as you might think. Vaychulu hashamayim ve'haaretz v'chotzetam vaychal Elohim bayom hashvi'i melachto asher asa vayishvot bayom hashvi'i mikol melachto asher asa vayevarech Elohim et yom hashvi'i vayikadesh oto ki bo shavat mikol melachto asher bava Elohim la'asot. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor V'Hanora El Hadon Konei Shamayim V'Haaretz. 51. Magen Avot Bidvaro Me'ei Metim B'Ma'amaro Ha'el HaKadosh She'en Kamohu Ameniach Le'amo B'Yom Shabbat Kodosho Ki Bom Ratzah Le'aniach Lachem Ki Bom Ratzah Le'aniach Lachem Lefanav na'bod be'yirah v'pachad v'nodeh lishmo b'chol yom tamid me'en ha'avot el avodaot adon hashalom mekadesh hashabbat u'mvarech sheni u'miyach b'kedusha le'am kedushay odeh zefer lema'aseh bereshit Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu etzei v'nu Turn it back over to my friend Jacqueline.
I'll give you a break because I'm going to ask you to do the closing song. See,
Okay. Duly noted.
Yes,
Yes,
Thank you.
Dr. Koch. All right. Kedisha left, thank you. Page 53. Yikadal v'yikadash Shamei Rabba Ve'omad yivrachuti v'yamlich machute V'chayechoni v'yomechonu p'chayed hol Beit Yisrael V'agala ubizman kari v'yimaru Yehi Shmei Rabba mevorach Le'olam le'amaya yitvarach Yitvarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitruma v'yidnaseh V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shemei Nekudashah Le'elam mikol berchata v'shirata Tishbachata v'nechemata Da'amiran v'yalma v'imaru Titkabal tzalotahan uva utahan d'chol Yisrael Kodama v'han v'yishmaya v'imaru Yehi Shlama Rabba min Shemaya V'chayim alenu v'yakol Yisrael v'imaru Osei Shalom v'imrama Puya Osei Shalom alenu v'yakol Yisrael Ve'akol Yoshri Tevel v'imaru All right. I have my handy Siddur, which I actually wrote drosh time like several years ago so that I would remember to do a drosh on Friday night. So, in honor of St. Patrick's Day, and I did find a green kippah, so nobody is allowed to pinch me. So I'm going to talk for a few minutes about the Jewish community of Ireland. Most of my research was from the World Jewish Congress and myjewishlearning.com. So there were a few things that surprised me about Ireland's Jewish history. I guess the first thing was that it had one. When I decided on this topic for a drosh, I was like hoping there was something, and there's some material here. There have actually been Jews in Ireland on and off for over 1,000 years. So there's a pretty long history. The first Jewish mayor in Ireland was elected. Anybody want to guess when they had their first Jewish mayor? Not of Dublin, this was of a county in Cork.
1949.
1555.
Which
Which is
years.
400 years, right. I would have thought recent years too, right? But good for you for trying to guess. There have actually been not one but two Jewish mayors of Dublin. One of them was a member of the IRA, and in fact there have been several prominent IRA members who were Jewish. Ireland has produced a chief rabbi of first the British Mandate of Palestine and then later Israel, and also a president of Israel, Chaim Herzog, was actually born in Ireland. Some things that did not surprise me is that the Jewish population in Ireland has definitely waxed and waned over the centuries. It has been subject to anti-Semitism, and like pretty much everywhere that we hear of, once the Jewish population grew, became prosperous, you know what happens next. We drew criticism and fear and mistrust from officials and ultimately had to leave. Currently, the Ireland Jewish population is on the rise, believe it or not, so I'll get to that part at the very end. So Jewish merchants first arrived in Ireland in 1079. There remained a very small number of Jews during the 12th and 13th centuries. However, in 1290, Edward I expelled all the Jews of Britain, so this included the Jews in Ireland as well. And it wasn't actually until the 15th century that the Jewish community was reinstated. There were a lot of refugees fleeing from Spain and Portugal due to the Inquisition, and Ireland was a safe place for them. And actually, Oliver Cromwell readmitted Jews officially into the Commonwealth, and the first synagogue was founded in 1663, which is right across from the Dublin Castle. So from there on, for about 300 years, there was a very small number of Jews living in Ireland, immigrating there because of persecution in other places. So it wasn't maybe great, but it was definitely a lot better than what was going on in the rest of Europe at that time. And most of the population, just as I guess a side note, has pretty much been in Dublin, but there are some communities in Cork, County Cork, which is where the Jewish mayor was elected, and a few other areas as well. So at the end of the 1700s, the Dublin synagogue had to close. The missionaries were very successful with the Jewish population. There was a lot of intermarriage, and Jews were actually not allowed to gain citizenship at that time. So that was there wasn't a big population for a while, but starting in the 1820s, Jews fled Poland, Germany, and England, and the numbers started to grow. By 1900, the population was about 4,000. There were some other small Jewish communities outside of Dublin established then, and there's evidence of the Jewish population at this time in James Joyce's 1922 Ulysses. He has a very prominent Irish Jewish character named Leopold Bloom. I believe that's no relation to our own Rabbi Bloom. So what happened was, the Jews were doing pretty well at that time, but sadly, the same thing that we've heard since the days of the Torah and still happens today. The Jewish population became prosperous and they drew some pretty negative attention. In particular, there was a priest in Limerick who urged Catholics to boycott Jewish traders and behave violently towards them. It led to a few deaths. He was successful in driving out all the Jews in Limerick due to the boycotts and the abuse that he provoked. However, he got moved out of Limerick and the Jewish population was eventually reestablished there. So as I mentioned in the opening, Rabbi Yitzhak Halevi Herzog was the chief rabbi of Ireland from 1921 to 1936. He then immigrated to Israel and became the chief rabbi, and his son Chaim Herzog was the 6th president of Israel. In 1937, the Irish Constitution recognized Judaism as a minority faith, which granted Jews some protection against discrimination. So we don't hear, or at least I hadn't really heard much about Ireland during the Shoah. There were some anti-Nazi protests that were held by not just the Irish Jewish population, but there were some other non-Jewish leaders that protested as well, including a prominent lawmaker, Robert Briscoe. However, Ireland ultimately decided to close its doors to all refugees. And there really was an intentional effort to deny fleeing German Jews entry into the country. The official Department of Justice memorandum on the topic stated, as Jews do not become assimilated with the native population like other immigrants, there is a danger that any big increase in their numbers might cause a social problem. So this sounds a lot like the dual loyalty trope that's still used against Jews today, particularly in relation to loyalty to Israel. However, the Jews who were already in Ireland were relatively safe during the Holocaust. Ireland was considered neutral. Some people actually supported the Nazis, not so much because they liked the Nazis, but they hated England so much that it was kind of an enemy of my enemy is my friend. However, even though 4,000 Irish Jews were sort of marked by the Third Reich, only 1 or 2, depending on the source, were killed. So the Jews pretty much stayed safe in Ireland. They actually, on a positive note, there were hundreds of Jewish children saved from the Kindertransport through Vienna. They sent them all to, I guess, a single farm in Northern Ireland, which is kind of a nice thing to think that they were able to pull that off. And around that time was the peak of the Jewish population. So the late 40s, there were 5,500. At one point it was shrinking, but I found an article that according to the 2016 Irish census, the population actually grew almost 30% from 2011 to 2016. And according to the Irish Times, that's attributable to young Jewish professionals that are immigrating there as part of high-tech U.S. multinational firms. The population in 2018 was about 2,500, which is roughly the Jewish population of students at UC Berkeley, for comparison. There are 3 shuls in Dublin, 2 Orthodox and 1 progressive. So overall, Ireland does have a very small Jewish population, but it has a very long and interesting history. While there have been some difficult times, it's definitely been a safer place for Jews than most of Europe has been. So in closing, as Ariella pointed out to me, which she learned in Beit Sefer this week, the traditional Irish St. Patrick's dinner of corned beef and hash is perfectly kosher and makes an excellent Shabbat dinner. All right, so that's a little bit about Irish Jewish population. All right, Kiddush. Page 55, please rise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu mitzvotav la'atzavanu v'shabbat kodsho li'ahavahu ratzon inhilanu zikaron lema'aseh bereshit Kibu Yom Tefillah L'Mikra'e Kodesh Zecher Yetziat Mitzrayim Kivanu V'Acharta Ve'otanu Kidashta Mikol Ha'olim Ve'Shabbat Kodshecha Ve'Ahavu Ratzon Yinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat Amen. L'chaim. All right, if your children are here, please approach your mother or parent or anyone else who you feel comfortable blessing. All right, for girls we say Yisamech Elohim Kasara Rivka Rachel Leah. For boys, Yisimcha Elohim K'Ephraim V'chi Menashe. Yerechacha Adonai Yishmarecha. Yair Adonai Panav Elecha V'chumecha. Yisa Adonai Panav Elecha V'yasem Lecha Shalom. All right. We remain standing for Aleinu, page 57. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon ha'kol, l'ateit kedua li'aseh bereshit, shelo asanu kiboyei ha'aratzot, ve'lo asanu lanu mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chakenu kahem, ve'gor aleinu bechol ha'onam, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא שהוא נותן שמיים מייסד הארץ ומשך יקרו בשמיים ממעל ושכינתו זו בגובה מרומים Eloheinu Enon, Emet Malkeinu Efes Zulato, Kakatu B'Torato, B'Tatayom, B'Hashemotan, Elelav Avecha, Ki Adonai Hu Elohim, B'Shamayim B'Ma'al, Kagatu b'toratacha Adonai yimlach le'olam va'ed. Le'emar v'chaya Adonai le'melech al kol ha'aretz. Vayom hahu yeh Adonai echad. U'shemo You may be seated. This Shabbat, we lovingly recall the memory of our departed relatives and friends whose yahrzeit we observed during the week of 25 Adar to 2 Nisan. Goldie Alper, Don Ben Zev, Barbara May Benjamin, Robert Bostic, Boris Karasik, Ariel David, Charles DeBear, Leonard Fixler, Sam Frankel, Sidney Getovitz, Miriam Goldberg, Ann Gore, Werner Gross, Peter Hecht, Jack Helfand, Dora Hertzman, Joseph Cantor, Eileen Kessler, Melvin Klein, Jack Kubalik, Samuel Lampert, Michael Lazar, Mary Liebet, Regina Mendel, Tom Miller, Esther Moravsky, Samuel Newman, Saul Pierce, Murray Pulse, Gail Raskin, Arlene Shub Rabinowitz, Jenny Rosenzweig, Tilly Rubin, Abraham Lewis Schneider, Irvin Schwartz, Maurice Weiss, Manfred Wildman, Leo Wood, Herman Zatkin, Edith Zuckerberg. And we're in the Shloshim for Diane Kleinman, mother of Jim Kleinman, Daniel Wasserman, son of Andy and Marcia Wasserman, and Carol Robinson, wife of Rabbi Art Gould. For all who are in mourning or who it's your custom to do so, please rise for the Mourner's Kaddish on page 61. Yikadal v'yikadash shemei Rabbah, ve'oma divra chirotei v'yamlich machutei, v'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, v'agala uvizman kariv v'imru.
Amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevarach v'yolam v'yamaya.
Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitramam v'yitnoseh, v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kudusha,
Refu.
La'ela min kol berchata v'shirata, Tushbachata v'nechemata, da'amiran v'yalma v'imru.
Amen.
Yehi shlama rabbamin shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'imru.
Amen.
Osei shalom v'imromav, v'yasei shalom aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'imru.
Amen.
May their memory be a blessing to you. Okay, before we close with a song from Rabbi Jessica, hopefully, I have a few announcements. Tomorrow morning we have services at 9:30. 9 a.m. is text study with Susan on Zoom. 9:30 services. We have, I feel like these are not the right. We have Hazanit Yael Krieger here, and we also have Linda Bernstein visiting, who's not really a rabbinic intern because she's already done her internship, but she's going to be helping out during the sabbatical, covering about half a dozen Shabbats, doing a few drashot, and doing some service leading, but tomorrow Hazanit Yael will be leading services. Let's see, these are actually the announcements, I think, for the following week. So there's the TVA Book Club on Wednesday, March 22nd. Morning Minyan every Monday and Thursday at 8 a.m. Anything else? Oh, there's a chocolate Seder for 4th through 7th graders on Sunday, March 26th.
Reservations required.
Yes, reservations required. Thank you. Those are the main things. WTVA Shabbat is a week from tomorrow.
What's
And-
that?
Women of TBA. So it's Shabbat service led by members of Women of TBA.
Let's see you.
As of last night, yes. I didn't sign up, but yes, I saw my name was there a lot. Okay, so anything else I missed of announcements?
Visitors?
Well, we do have one visitor who is not really a visitor. She's just coming back, and unfortunately for a sad reason, because she's going to be conducting the funeral for Carol Robinson. But we are always happy to see her here. So on that note, I'm going to call you up. No one else is a visitor, so. Are you comfortable doing a closing song? Okay, of course. Thank you. It's up to you.
All right, I like
Dealer's
Yigdal, so we're
choice.
gonna do that. That's page 63. Yigdal Elohim Chai ve'yishtabach Nimtza be'en et el metziuto Echad be'en yachid ke'ichudo Ne'am v'gam mitzvov le'achduto אין לו דמות הגוף ואין לו גוף, לא נערוך אליו קדושתו, קדמון לכל דבר אשר נברא, ראשון בין ראשית לראשיתו, הינו עד עולם לכל נוצר, יורד גדולתו ומלכותו, שפע נבואתו נתנו, אליו שסגולתו ותפארתו, לא קם בישראל כמשה, נביא ומביט את תמונתו, תורת אמת נתן לעמו, על יד מביאו נאמן ביתו, לא יכל להתפעל ולא ימיר דתו, לעולמים זרועתו, סופר ויודע צאתנו, מעמיד לסוף דבר בקדמתו, גומל לאיש חסד כמפעלו, נותן לרשע רע כרשעתו, ישלח לקץ ימים משיחנו, לפדות בחגי קץ ישועתו, מתים יחייל ברוך חסדו, ברוך הדעה שם תפילתו, מתים יחייל ברוך חסדו, ברוך הדעה שם תפילתו. Shabbat Shalom. Yasher Koach to Jacqueline for leading.